Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of A Bigger Bite. Once again, I am Matt, and joining me today on this panel is Amarú, special guest Harrison, and Nick. Well, Nick will be here later, but he'll be here, I hope. But we are here to talk to you about The Naked Gun. Rue has questions for me, and I have questions for Rue. And Harrison, I know we didn't really talk about how you felt about the film just in the time we were just chopping it up before this. But before we get started, I do want to say, please remember to like and subscribe to everything we do over here at Bitesize Breakdown.
Leave that shit in. Just leave it in, because it's not all real entertainment, my guy.
I know. That's funny. You gotta admit, that's funny. I caught myself at least. I caught myself. But no. Be sure to like and subscribe everything over here at Bitesize Breakdown. Muscle memory kicks in sometimes. Rue did a couple trailer reactions recently. We had the Bigger Bite episode of the Fantastic Four drop, so you can go check that out. There's a lot going on over here lately. But I'm just ready to dive on into this because I'll be honest, and I've told people this, and this is why Rue has questions. I watched the first Naked Gun movies for the first time ever in my life before, like in the days leading up to my screening of this film. I could see why people enjoyed them. There was just something there that did not allow me to engage with it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it was how it was shot or something in the story just didn't click for me, but I just couldn't engage with it like I wanted to. And maybe that's just because I was watching it at home for the first time. And I've noticed that a lot of older films that I've in my life that I've watched at home don't hit me the same way when I'm watching at home for the first time ever instead of just going to re-release it at a movie theater. So I couldn't really get behind those first films. However, I busted a gut. I was laughing nonstop, and I had so much fun with this film. Harrison, since you're the special guest, I'm going to start with you. How did you feel about The Naked Gun?
I enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it. It felt like a vintage comedy. They didn't really update much of the comedy style like from those original films, so it really does feel like the fourth entry in this franchise. So yeah, I thought it was quite enjoyable. Like Liam Neeson, he has great comedic timing. He the bits he did, I'm not everything didn't land, but most of them did. Same thing with Pamela Anderson. I think she is a better actress than she gets credit for, and I enjoyed her role in this movie as well. Like I said, it was a good time.
It feels like we're heading for a Pamela Anderson renaissance real quick because just a little sidetrack. You had her in The Last Showgirl just last year, and now you have her in Naked Gun, both being great performances, mind you. So I love that you're giving Pam her love. I guess I'll go to Rue since Nick's not here yet.
Look,
Rue, how did you feel about The Naked Gun?
I do not disagree with a lot of what Harrison says, except one thing. I'll start with this. This cast is perfect. Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson and Danny Houston and Paul Walter Hauser, they came and did their job. Also, this is a movie. This feels like a movie. This does not feel like somebody trying to cash grab, a spoof. They did everything that they were supposed to do in terms of making an actual film, and it does feel like it's in the vein of Naked Gun. Everything that this movie depends on is whether or not you think it's funny. And I'm going to say that this is probably one of the most subjective films I've seen in a long time because this shit was not funny. To me, this was not funny. Before this ends, I will give you 3 of the times where I had genuine actual laughs and not pity chuckles. And I was sitting there, and Harrison, I actually want to see your opinion on this because we saw the screening in the same theater. I'll start with that question. While I was watching, I was like, I want to catch residual laughs. Yes, Matt.
I was going to say, before you ask your question, I have to ask somebody else a different question.
And that is?
Nick.
I heard Naked Gun slander and I ran here.
I'm going to keep the slander going. Here's my question. Let's just make this clear. I was trying for the life of me to catch residual laughs. If you laugh with people, it gets funnier to you. Harrison, the entire time in our screening, I felt like all I heard was chuckles here, there, and one like genuine laugh maybe once every 30 minutes. That is what I got. And I did not think people were like laughing out loud, like having a great time in the theater. It also doesn't help that there was a dude next to me snoring from before the movie even started, and I had to move seats. But my experience was didn't feel that. My friend KB, if you watch my top 100 hip hop show of all time, you know him from there. He walked out and we gave each other the same look. Fuck was that? And then as we were walking, I heard people saying, "Oh yeah, I had a great time. Oh, it's hilarious." And I'm like, did I not hear the theater right? So that's my question, Harrison. What did you feel like the theater was doing? Because I heard pity chuckles all day, all 85 minutes.
Yeah, like it was the theater was not hooting and hollering. You're correct about that. I did feel a lot of the time that I was laughing by myself, and I just feel like maybe I'm the only one enjoying this because I like these old school type of jokes. Like yes, you heard a few things here and there, but yeah, it wasn't like the theaters just laughing their asses off. It wasn't anything like that. But yeah, some of those small chuckles you heard were probably me a couple of rows ahead of you, just being like, I can't believe they did this.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't tripping.
I had the exact opposite reaction at my theater. Granted, I had my Watt Real Entertainment partner, Jeff Altman, on my left-hand side, and I had Chris Stuckman on my right-hand side. And the three, like, you could hear the laughter all throughout the theater. The three of us were all laughing at the same goddamn time and just living for the film. And I just couldn't stop laughing. But we're getting deeper into this. Nick, you're here. Finally.
I made it.
What did you think of The Naked Gun?
Well, anyone who knows me knows I love the original Naked Gun. I'll battle for it. It's the greatest comedy of all time. So I knew that this had big shoes to fill, and I think it filled them. I think it's the best version of this film that you can do. I was worried it was gonna, like, I'm not as big a hater, and this could be Back to the Future bias, of A Million Ways to Die in the West, another comedy that Seth MacFarlane has his hand in. So I was a little worried it would end up a little bit more like that, but this stayed pretty true to what makes the Naked Gun films work. And any of the worries I had, like whether Liam Neeson's kind of angry approach would work when you don't have kind of the buffoonery of Leslie Nielsen, it worked. Any of my worries were kind of squashed, and I just had a good time. I'm curious, Rue and Harrison, was yours a mixed public critic screening or just critic screening?
It was mixed. It was
okay.
Mine was
interesting.
Mixed as well.
And yours, Matt?
Mixed.
Yeah, ours is mixed as well, because comedies at critic-only screenings don't typically audibly work, in my experience. They're just, there's a hesitancy, you're focused on what you're going to write and stuff like that. But mine is a lot more like Matt's experience. The crowd was rocking. So I don't know, your personal opinion aside, Rue, I don't know if it was just the group of people you saw with that helped sour it, because I'm wondering if you would feel as disenfranchised by the film if it was a loud, uproarious theater.
I probably would feel the same about it, but I might give it more leeway because I would have at least gotten residual laughs from other people. Like, you're laughing with other people, you're going to find it a little bit more funny. The entire time I was cringing. And I was like, I need y'all to laugh because I need to find some laughs because I think this is just awkward. I think this is a great. Again, one of my 3 laughs was, first off, all the laughs I had were basically personal laughs because I had a personal connection. You will like this. The Buffy joke going through each of the characters, I was dying because I love that show. And I knew who he was talking about. He brought up Cordelia. He brought up Spike. He brought up all those deep cuts. And I absolutely love that. So
He
I
brought
laughed
up the
my ass off
Willow
that.
doppelganger episode.
Yep.
That, is,
Exactly. So that one for
that was an
one for
awakening for me as a child.
I've never watched Buffy, but like just the pain. I remember the pain of TiVo on if you plugged it in. Like my dad used to keep it unplugged. Just like, I want to make sure we catch up on these shows before. Nope. Okay.
Yeah. So like the deep cut, it hit me. It hit me personally. So I was like, good, I like this joke. But like the other jokes I really can call back are only personal. Like everything else got old. Everything else felt like they tried too hard. And here's what leads to my question for you, Matt. You came in beforehand saying you didn't like the original Naked Guns. I love the original Naked Guns. And the reason I do is because I think it takes again, I don't blame you for what you're saying. I agree. It fits. I agree. They did what's supposed to do. But everything felt like a try-hard version. Like everything else was much more, let me hit this easier, ham-fisted ass version of this joke. And I'm like, hold the hell up. Leslie Nielsen in the original Naked Gun actually knew the balance of between subtlety and stupidity to hit the right tone. And this goes way past subtle to me. And I'm like, wait a second, if you get less subtle, how do you like this more than the actual great balance of subtlety and stupidity we get in the originals and you don't like that one? That's my confusion.
So like I said, my reasoning, I just couldn't attach the movies. I think it had to do with the production quality of it. That's just it. And like that, we've had this conversation before. I have severe ADHD, so like if you're not able to pull me in, or it catch my attention, I'm just not going to vibe with it. My issue with the originals has nothing to do with the comedy. At times it does, but I think there are things just like that work better here. Like the plot device had me dying.
I laughed at that.
The fact that they poked even more fun at police procedurals, and the fact that almost any time you have someone walking into a scene, what the fuck are they being handed?
Coffee.
Exactly. So the fact that I'm talking about that.
Not just coffee, Matt. A continuously bigger cup of coffee.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was getting old with me until I saw that giant cup of coffee, and I just started laughing again.
But then, like in the future scenes, it was back smaller. But my point is, like, they do that police procedurals all the time. So I lived for that joke. And yes, like you said, those times there was a certain point in that film where it's like, all right, that's starting to get a little stale, and you're like, wait, are those cups getting bigger? It's like, oh, okay, and then it just refreshed it. It's like reset it for me and refreshed it to where the dude started getting coffee in the weirdest ways possible. Middle of driving the car as he's hanging from a fucking owl. Like the fact that it continued in those outrageous ways are what kept that joke so fresh for me.
I'm not, again, I'm exaggerating a little bit when I say I only had 3 genuine laughs and that was it. I chuckled throughout the
comments.
I chuckled throughout the entirety of the thing. I did. But when I say 3 genuine laughs, I mean the coffee got old, and every time I saw the bigger one or in the middle, I was like, okay. All right. But you can't deny there are a million jokes in this. So out of a million jokes, I'm gonna chuckle. I'm gonna like, oh, that was funny. But the majority of them, there's a poop joke, there's a dick joke, there's a fart joke. There's the most
dick joke had me dying.
Not at all. Not at all. The most
do you not get where that joke came from?
It doesn't matter where it came. So apparently,
okay, pause.
Apparently
let me educate you. Let me educate you, sir. It has been a long-standing rumor and joke throughout Hollywood that Liam Neeson has a giant fucking penis. So that joke was playing off of what has been a long-standing rumor and joke in the business. And I fucking laughed my ass off. His penis has been described as an elephant trunk. So to even just have him get de-pantsed and then describe his dick, I was laughing my ass off.
And again, subjective, so I get it. But one, if you need to educate me about a joke, But
But here's the
sometimes
thing.
you do because I had the
but
Buffy
here's the
thing.
You're
I
the
had the
only one
Buffy
here
thing.
who, on this panel, it seems like, who didn't understand that joke.
That's not my biggest point. My biggest point
You're
is
saying subjective. But if you're the only one out on a joke, that's a you problem.
You are, again, that's the first step. That's not even my biggest point, because again, you all keep bringing up points that I thought are kind of funny. When I say kind of funny, I'm like, that's cool. But the depancing, the maybe 2 minutes it took to get to the man describing him, of him going upside down and seeing his ass before the description of it, was me sitting there like, okay. And then he starts and then he starts describing. It took the man 2 minutes to get from the top of that stadium all the way to the bottom, then turn around. When he started describing, I was like, okay, this is kind of funny. This is all right. But that's my thing with this
because
movie.
He himself was supposed to look like a giant penis. His Liam Neeson's 6'5" frame is just standing out of two giant balls.
Wasn't funny to me. That is something I've seen in a whole lot of movies, and you need to be slightly smarter than looking like an. I guess that's the second Austin Powers thing I can talk about. Looking like a big penis. But anyway,
the Austin Powers version of that was probably better than the one in this movie. I will agree with that.
And the Austin Powers version of the infrared dog scene making something look like sex, I knew exactly what was going to happen. Like 2 minutes before all of it was going to happen. He brought out my goggles, and I was like, okay, I know exactly what's happening.
Yep.
Okay, but here's the thing, Rue. This is where it's like what we talked about with Matt on previous episodes, and it's what you wanted. They know you knew that was coming. They didn't try and hide it. Like that is,
and it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny.
To
we're not
you.
doing that. And I accept that, and I accept it. I accept it 100%. This is the most subjective thing. What I'm not going to take is him going with what he wanted and me not getting laughs out of something. I was like, all right, let's see how they do this. I'm good with this. So y'all finding it funny? Cool. I accept that. I just didn't find it funny.
Yeah,
I just didn't find it funny.
You're saying you're not finding it funny because you saw it coming.
Yeah,
all of us saw it coming.
That added to the fact that it was. That was funny. That added to the fact that it wasn't funny to me, but that did not stop me from saying, let me watch this and see how funny they can make it. And when it delivered, it just didn't deliver for me.
The only thing that didn't deliver in that scene was the dog, because the fact that they're talking about oven cleaning it's like, oh, you think they're actually talking about something? No, she's cleaning the fucking oven.
Okay, I'm going to stop now because that's enough of me like shitting on this. But everything you just said was like, that's not funny to me, though. Not funny to me.
Okay. So the thing with the original Naked Gun films and the thing that they're doing in that infrared scene and why it worked, regardless of if it worked for you, that joke doesn't hit the same way if you don't know it's coming. That's not the kind of joke that works as a surprise. It's like a firework. You're watching it go up. You're waiting. You know exactly what you're going to see. You're going to see, and it happens. And part of the reason that joke works is because it's built up to the point that even the most naive person who doesn't understand what is coming understands. And then as a group, part of why they want this to be a theater experience is that you all know what's coming and you all experience that together. It didn't work for you, and I understand that, but knowing what's coming is why it works for a lot of other people, I would say.
It was a smartly written movie. All the merit outside of the comedy, I'm giving to it. It really did not land for me, and being a spoof comedy, you got to be funny, and it didn't work for me.
The Naked Gun films are a combination of dumb and clever. You have to have an equal combination of both of those. I think there's a lot of stuff in here that's clever, and honestly, the more clever stuff wasn't laugh out loud moments. It was like the Bill Cosby joke where you're kind of your head like
hilarious.
Wow, they went.
That's number two. That's number two. That's the second one I loved.
I totally forgot about that until now.
but like it's a throw. It's not one of the big set pieces. It's not the snowman. It's not the infrared. It's just like something they throw in there, and you're like, ah, that's clever. And then when the focus is on the characters, a lot of it is, ah, that's dumb. The three of us here seem to have liked this. So I will say one thing in your favor, Rue, that I find too many people are giving a pass on is the one thing Schaefer did. The one lesson I think he took the wrong lesson from the original Naked Guns was the idea of taking something literally and continuously taking that joke into the ground. Is it cute when Pam Anderson says, have a seat, and then she takes a chair? Sure, that's very Naked Gun humor. When it happens every scene, it's Liam Neeson doing it. It's the villain, whose name's escaping me right now, doing it.
Let's say Danny Houston. That's
Danny
That's true. When it's Danny Houston doing it, that joke got tired for me. That was a one run-on joke throughout the film that I was like, okay, this isn't the point. The point is that these worked with Leslie Nielsen because they were done sporadically in the film, not that they were done in every scene. There's a moment where he takes something too literally. And that was the one thing that actually ended up hurting like my real rating was I found they played that joke into the ground.
No. Real quick. Harrison, I'm going to ask you about this one. How'd you feel about that snowman scene?
You know, that I've been waiting for my chance to talk about that. That's probably my favorite scene in the movie. Because first of all, when it starts, I was like, is this a dream sequence or is this really happening? Because the way they kind of just go into it, I was like, it seems like he's just imagining this. But then the way it keeps going, like, okay, they're on some type of vacation. But like the way they're teeing it up, like when they find like the spell book and they're casting, I was like, this is gonna be an evil snowman. You can see it. But then they go like a totally different way with it. And I'm like, oh, this is a lot funnier than I was expecting this bit to be. And then of course the whole thing with like the tryst happens and he feels left out. I just like, when he like the inhaler and just squirted it all out, so he comes out, he can't breathe. I'm like, this is hilarious. They did a good job with this. Like,
also, you talk about like you didn't know if it was a dream sequence. I don't know when the last time you watched the original film was. It was like a throwback moment to when he and the love interest from the original film, they essentially did a similar scene minus the menage. But no, I think that was when my theater was laughing the loudest because they just couldn't get, like, again, one of the things, like, everyone saw it coming. Or actually, everyone saw like the snowman coming alive coming. Now you didn't see the rest of and you saw how it was going to end coming. You did not see that middle part coming at all.
And that's where it's really clever in that it almost tattles on itself, so that when these little turns happen, these little moments happen, you're like, this is so painfully obvious. I know exactly what's coming. And then when, it goes the threesome route with the snowman, you're like, oh shit, I did not see that coming. And it makes it hit harder.
Putting the snow cone syrup on the hand and then
in the hand and eat.
I am laughing more right now with you three than I did in that theater.
They did in that same scene what they call Chekhov's gun, like them practicing with that samurai sword, and then that coming back into play. I was like, I forgot that. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah, I can agree. Again, a lot of cleverness. I think at that point, I was like, I'm not finding fun in the sex joke. Just like I did not find fun in the poop joke with the owl. I didn't find fun in the 2-minute drive down of his ass.
I will give you the poop joke. The poop joke I thought was stupid.
And the one similar, which again is kind of where I'm at, where I found chuckles here and there, but overall was like, the hot dog one. It reminded me of Pops and Friday, right?
The chili dog.
Chili dog. Sorry, the chili dog joke.
See,
it reminded me of Pops and it reminded me of Pops and Friday, and I'm like, when I watch Friday, I love this because I love how John Witherspoon delivers this, and like I think the funniest part to me was like when Busta says "Don't do it again" and he does it again. I was like, all right, that's kind of funny, but again, it went back to that day. Yeah, it went back to the subtle line of For some, it's gonna stay there and subtle and make you laugh a lot. And for me, it just kept dipping its toe into, this is past stupid. This is juvenile, not funny. But I'll keep going back and forth. And going back and forth was my issue.
Yeah, I
think that's
understand
going
where you're
back and
coming
forth
from with
part
that
of the point.
scene. Yeah, but
One at a
what made
time.
that scene funnier for me? I get what you're saying about how that scene played out, but what actually made me laugh was when he like came out of the bathroom the first time. And he's like degrading himself for eating the hot dogs. That's where I started laughing. He's like, "You shouldn't be doing this." Oh, and he just shoves it in his mouth. Oh, you're awful. You're fat. That's what made the scene funny. It's not that he just kept doing it. Is that like as a human, he's having a human moment, and he's saying he's basically like a disgusting person for doing this. That's where the humor came from.
I like that for the movie. I like that, making it feel like a movie. So like, again, I find merit a lot in this, and I don't blame anybody. So yeah, we can keep bringing up a whole lot of different parts that
To be fair,
again, are
this,
really
this
smart.
is a spoiler review, and it's a comedy, so really all we can do is bring up the
Yeah.
jokes.
Yeah, exactly. So since I said my other one that I really laughed at, and weirdly, I think it's really stupid. But it's the first joke I laughed super hard at was the Black Eyed Peas joke, when they just kept going, and when they said Apple D App, and I was like, if you don't know who Apple D App is, this is not funny. But I know Apple D App. I know Will I Am. I know Taboo. And then of course you have to bring up Fergie last, because Fergie changed who the Black Eyed Peas are in my entire mindset, because I know Black Eyed Peas pre-Fergie. So that back and forth, I was busting out on that one again, because personally I got the deep cuts.
And that was what they did really well, because it's maybe like 25 minutes after that joke, and Fergalicious starts playing in the movie.
Yes.
Like after
Yep,
it's simmered, after it's kind of out of your mind, and then they bring you right back there.
I feel like the only joke that I didn't like, and it's not that I didn't like the joke, I wanted the joke to go further, was the O.J. Simpson joke. They have that one scene that they play in the trailers where they show him, and he's like, "I'm not doing this."
You're like, all right, who's this actor gonna be? And then it's just the same thing you saw in the trailer.
I thought he was gonna be a bigger part of the story, and that they were gonna continue basically like treating him like the real life OJ or doing some stuff like that, but they didn't. So if they gets another one, I would like for them to do that, but I was a little disappointed they didn't go that far for whatever reason.
Rue knows my thoughts on this. I miss the character of Norberg. I think that you need someone who just, pardon my French, gets the shit beaten out of him throughout the film, all the physical comedy. Like if we get a second one, which I'm feeling pretty confident we will.
Well, let's see what the box office decides.
I feel pretty confident we will. It's getting a lot of pretty positive word of mouth, and comedies are. A lot of people outside of this.
I agree with you.
A lot of people outside of this space are talking about it, which is what I find kind of interesting.
My big worry is a lot of people outside of this space are like, oh yeah, they could be talking about it, but they could, in those same conversations, they could be going, but I'll just wait till it's on streaming.
I feel like it's different because it's comedy. Because it's not that comedy is coming out and missing. It's that they aren't being given the chance at theaters. Because a comedy is the one kind of movie you want to watch with an audience above any other genre of film.
Listen, I would have loved to watch Happy Gilmore 2 with an audience, so I get it. But no, I just don't know if I can trust the general consumer when it comes to comedies anymore.
I feel good about this.
I also feel good about the box office here, because one, no counter programming, I'm sorry, there's a lot of counter programming. So people who don't want to see Soups, who don't want to see Fantastic Four, are gonna come for Naked Gun. Two, the word of mouth is extremely positive. Three, everybody knows Liam Neeson, and you're gonna hit. Everybody knows Pamela Anderson, and you're going to hit more than moviegoers our age. You are going to hit the people who want a comedy. You're gonna hit the moviegoers our age, because even the people who watched Atlanta and how funny Liam Neeson was in that. But you're also going to get all the older generation who loved the Naked Gun in general and says, "Ooh, I want to see, go back to that. I want to see how that relates now in this. And if they have the same word of mouth, more people who don't go to the movies, especially older generations, are going to say, that's the one I'm going to go see, because I don't need to see any of these superhero films. So I'm hoping it does, because I'm going to go see the next one if it does, because I would love to laugh at that one and hope it's good. But I also feel good about this one, because I don't, also as a comedy, probably, what was the budget? I don't think it needed
48
a lot.
million.
I thought it was 42. Is it 48?
48, based on what I just read. And I hate doing this, but I'm going to be Debbie Downer. The tracking has actually gone down in the last few weeks. It was projected at a $30 million opening, and it is now projected at an $18 million opening weekend.
That is a drop in fucking half.
So, as
It'll
much
go
as
back up.
I hope it's closer to the original tracking numbers, it's not pretty. And a lot, what's reports are is it's being attributed to the positive word of mouth of Superman and Fantastic Four for people who are waiting to see how Fantastic Four turned out, or maybe doing repeat viewings of it or Superman. Also, keep in mind, Jurassic World even made fucking $13 million this past weekend still somehow.
Because it's a Jurassic World movie.
People love their dinos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not.
My point is, like, that movie's been out just about a month now, almost, and it's still raking in solid pace.
Yeah. I'm not one to question projections, and I know that there's a lot of strong stuff coming up in August. I think that this is, though there's crossover audience with some of the films that are out, I don't know who the direct competitor for this film is. And I think that's what's going to work in its advantage. Even if it doesn't have a strong opening, I think it has that kind of Jurassic Park route. I think it can stay consistently in the top 10 for a good little run, because the positive word of mouth from the general public will start to get out. And I don't know what other comedies are even coming out in August.
I don't think any of the
Comedy-wise, I don't
theaters.
think there's much, like because sadly, comedies have primarily switched to being a streaming streaming genre. So
All there is that Bride Hard movie. I think that's like the only.
Ride
one
Hard
came
came out in June.
Okay, never mind. There's nothing.
But also, you talk about comedies, like, you got to look at our age group. I know people, myself included, are excited for Freakier Friday, and that's the following week.
Ooh, forgot about that. Yeah,
Myself included.
yeah. That's okay. It's going to get hit hard by that. That's
So, like, you factor that in. If I
don't
remember,
see a ton of crossover there. Like, there's some, but
so I see crossover when it comes to our generation, because our age range is potentially going to be taking their young kids to see it, or even just going out for a nostalgia's night out type deal with friends. And then you have, like, right now we're at a time where the box office is about to be very diverse, and I feel like that's gonna help some of these newer films coming out, but hurt some of them as well. And I think that this is one of those films that ends up hurt by it, because Freakier Fridays next week, Weapons is next week, Superman and Fantastic Four are still going to be doing money. The week after that, Nobody 2 comes out.
it's going to bomb.
yeah, but the thing about that kind of stuff is Naked Gun is the only one in those films that I would consider what you would call a palate cleanser. Like, to me, Naked Gun's direct competition in August, which I don't think is necessarily the same, would probably be The Roses, and that doesn't come out until the end of the month. That is the only other strict I don't think Splitsville is going to be a big hit in theaters. So I think The Roses with Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch.
I would call, well, because I would still consider Freakier Friday a direct comedy to it. Personally,
I think Freakier Friday is going to be just like Lilo and Stitch. It is going to be people who grew up on the original, but mainly people who grew up on the original are taking their kids to see it. You're not taking your kids to see Naked Gun.
I mean, the originals were PG, so somebody might.
What was this? PG-13?
Yep.
There's no way it was. I'm gonna say it's not R. So yeah,
No.
you can take your kids to see this. There's no nudity. There's no sex. Kids can go see Naked Gun.
Mm-hmm.
And it has poop jokes. So
there is sex.
Yeah, but it's with a damn snowman.
There's
Yeah.
freaking snowman.
There's-
Yeah, but there's still,
You
you know,
need
there's
to,
still going to be some kid going like, "Mom, Dad, what are they doing?
yeah. What is that
Oh,
dog
and-
doing to that lady?
What is the snowman doing to the lady?"
I guess I have a question for the three of you. How much money do you think this movie needs to make to secure a sequel?
70 million.
I was gonna my head kept it at 90.
He said, "How much do you think it needs to make?" So
That's
Yeah.
why I
needs.
said.
So you
That's
think
why I.
You think it
I
needs to
think
get
it was-
90?
you think it needs to make 90 to get a sequel?
You said 42. You said 42, right?
48.
42 to
For its
48.
budget.
Something like
42
42,
to
48.
48.
Like I'm always around doubling the budget. So double the budget.
See, but I
Need to
feel
hit
like
about
doubling
90.
the budget depends on what kind of the movie it is. So studios are something like this where theaters and studios need something like this to succeed to potentially keep bringing more comedies back in. So they could negotiate it to where the studio is keeping more of the ticket price than the theater is and things like that. So that's why it's like I think 70 might be around that number because for Paramount to be like, you know what, let's do a sequel. Because if Superman apparently only needed to hit 500 million for Warner's to consider it a success, why would this need anything more?
I say 60.
60?
I think the thing that works in its favor is a lot of industry people are going to be fans of it, and it could be as simple as the guy at Paramount was a big fan of Naked Gun, and it's made its money. We can justify pushing it through again.
Can I add something else to that, Nick? Paramount also factors in their streaming numbers, and you know this is going to go to Paramount Plus quickly. And if it's a hit on Paramount Plus, that's only going to add to it.
And
So
Paramount Plus, at least here in Canada, Paramount Plus is an add-on to Prime Video.
You can do it as an
It'll
add-on
get
here. Also.
promoted even if you don't have Paramount Plus, which is a big deal.
I just
I guess
looked
I
up that. Go ahead, Harrison. Go ahead.
I would say at the same time, aren't they being bought by Skydance? So does that factor in at all?
That could, because that changes up top to factor into it, yes.
Yeah.
But-
All I know is I just looked up one of them days. One of them days made 50 million. Naked Gun is beating that shit 100%. And I love One of Them Days, but ain't no way Naked Gun is not outdoing One of Them days.
But what was one of them days production budget though?
14 million, but that doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah.
box. I'm not comparing what it's making. I'm saying there's no way, and I love our people. There's no way that this country is letting One of Them Days beat Naked Gun at the box office. So
You had to put it like that.
yes, because it's the truth. It is the truth. Naked Gun is not. If the Naked Gun does not make as much as One of Them Days, it is a failure.
If the Naked Gun doesn't make as much as One of Them Days, I want you to come on this channel with a clown nose on and spray your bald ass head with whipped cream.
Why? Tell me now that you think the United States of America is going to let a SZA co-led comedy beat out a Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson remake of one of the most beloved comedies of all time. Tell me I'm lying.
I think it's highly possible.
No,
Look,
not even close. Not even.
Can we talk about one more thing here?
Yeah,
And
go
I
ahead.
say this with all due respect. Liam Neeson, who is far removed from the height of his Taken years. Pamela Anderson, who is in this secondary kind of
when
phase of her career, but a bit of a twilight. A slapstick comedy. Danny Houston is a villain. How the hell did this cost $48 million to make? You can
Because-
make this movie for a lot less.
because Liam still gets a nice payday. He's a name.
Yeah.
But even then, that's one.
That's let me be honest.
Half the budget was probably him.
25%. That is probably 25% of this budget.
I went to Liam too.
I would say if this movie hits at least 75 million, I would put a sequel into production, but I would negotiate with Liam. I'd be like, we got to pay you less, but do like some back end points or something.
Or they give it a smaller budget.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you just give him like some back end points, that can lower the budget, and like basically the film, if it does well, he gets paid more. That is what I would do for him. And like I said, he's basically at the end of his career now. I think he would agree to that.
I think this is him trying to set up and make this be the franchise that he finishes his career on.
Yeah. But
That's a good end of the career, even if I didn't like this first one. Yeah, I think it's a good way to cleanse, unless he keeps wanting to do the B movie action because he likes doing it. So, I mean, that's a good
He stopped doing the
two-hander.
B movie action.
that's how
That
you
last
rack
one-
up money. Those B action movies, they rack up a lot of money. What's his name? Die Hard.
Bruce
Bruce
Willis.
Willis.
Bruce
I mean,
Willis.
yeah,
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 he
so-
did all the. Of course, we know why now because he was mentally declining and he was just trying to save up some money for his kids. But they get paid for those, so he can do this and also this will give him the money to be like, I'm at the end of my career. I can go do whatever I want on the side. I can
Yeah, I
be
mean, like,
Rachel
I
Gould
mean-
again if I want.
Listen, real quick. Also, gotta love that this brought a new relationship that is just so wholesome into our lives. Good for Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson. Like
Oh, yes, good for them.
that chemistry on
Good for them.
screen. Just
yeah,
I really like on screen. Like these two really seem like they could be together. And then the news came out like the day after my screening that they were, and I'm like, oh shit! All right, cool.
well,
Yeah.
and like, not to get too paparazzi into it, but like, it's been notable that since his wife passed away, you never really get like the Liam Neeson relationship rumor. Like, he was just someone who just stayed alone for so long.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
it's nice to see him not moving on, but like finding something in
Yeah.
the situation. he's
and
in.
he took his time. So much respect. But yeah, I mean, like it's nice to see this side of him. I know. Listen, A Million Ways to Die in the West was not a great movie. He was the best part of it. Like,
Second best part.
dude, Charlize Theron was fun. That movie was funny. I think that movie was funny. I don't know.
Vern
what
knows
people
exactly what I meant when I said second best part.
the
Dr.
fact that I can-
Brown, come on.
the fact that I can only remember him.
I got Christopher Lloyd playing Doc Brown in that movie. That's a
Jamie
that's a
Foxx playing
5-star.
Django. Jamie Foxx showing up
Foxx
as
playing Django. Yes.
Like,
I saw the movie once, said this is horrible, and never watched it again.
oh
I'm
no.
good. I'm good. Thank y'all. I'm all right.
But point is, like, to see those comedic chops we saw from him in that film just start to translate into now potentially the continuation of a much beloved franchise is great. We haven't even talked about the fact that they just decided to make him his kid instead, which I think is smart because it's just like, all right, and then like it itself is a joke in reboots because the two dads named themselves after the two kids are named after their two dads and each end up in the same. Like, I was like, all right, I get it. You're making fun of the fact that all reboots tend to do this, where they bring the kid in some way or form.
And I think we should give flowers to the supporting cast as well. Like Pam Anderson,
Paul Walter Hauser is fucking great.
Paul Walter Hauser knew exactly the assignment.
I felt like you know what scene I'm about to describe. I felt like I was watching Cobra Kai at one point, and I was losing my shit.
Oh, he said beating up the kids.
Yes!
All day.
Beating up those kids.
I also can never not be happy with that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's officially the best way to get into a vending machine. Just whip a kid at it.
And like the fact that he was using like moves that looked like from Cobra Kai, I was like, oh. I was like, all right, cool. But yeah, like having those kind of things, nods and jokes, I really enjoyed. So,
well, I think when I did the write-up for this for our most improved article, one of my things was, for this to work, the thing that no one's really talking about is Paul Walter Hauser needs to do what George Kennedy did and not be funny. It worked because Ed was never funny. He was the straightest straight man, and that's how Paul Walter Hauser plays this role, and he fits perfectly as his son. So, yeah, I think he deserves his props. And I think Pam, even though she's very similar to the way Priscilla Presley played her character, I think she still plays it very well. And I think she deserves some credit as well, because there are some moments where she is genuinely funny on her own.
Yeah, without a doubt. Boys, any final thoughts as we just close the barrel on this Naked Gun?
Like
Final
I said,
question from me.
Go ahead, Harrison.
Go ahead, Harrison.
I was just wrapping up that again. I find the merit. I agree with what you said. I think it's a well-made movie. It's going to all come down to whether or not you think it's funny, and that's what it is.
I was just
Harrison,
gonna say I'm a fan of unconventional titles. So you got Naked Gun 22 and a half, 33 and a third. If this gets a sequel, what do they name it? Because this was technically 44 and a fourth, technically, even though it's not named that. How do you move on in a funny way?
Fifth of an
I
ounce.
can't. I can't think of anything else that isn't a derivative of something. So 2 naked, 2 guns, something like that.
That's
If they're
I
gonna
like
keep it with the twos.
Or like Naked Gun overdressed.
Oh, wait. I like what you're saying, Rue, but make the twos upside down fives.
That'll work. Yeah.
That would be the Naked Gun thing because it acknowledges that it's the fifth one actually, but they're calling it the sequel to this one.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I can get on board with that. Rue, I know we've stated you're on an island here, but I do understand where you're coming from. You feel about this way I feel about the movie The Materialists, where
I feel about Fantastic Four.
Everyone loved it. Everyone was raving about it, and it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. It was that I just didn't understand how people could enjoy this thing as much as they enjoyed it. So I get it. Sometimes, like a movie, there's a disconnect. But
I at least feel okay because it's comedy, and comedy is the most objective thing. So I'm not too mad that me and the person I went to go see it with are on our own on this one. So, but Harrison, appreciate you, sir.
Yep.
Yes.
I love being here. Really enjoy it. Invite me back whenever you can. I'm always down to talk movies with anybody.
Plug yourself real quick, Harrison.
Harrison Martin. You can find me online at Flixfrog, FILXFROG. If you want to follow me personally, it's at Movie Guru 23.
All right.
Fellow North Carolina Film Critic Association member. Let's go.
Hey, they need to show us more love here in North Carolina. They've been
Listen,
really getting cheap on
as another small town critic, Rue can attest. I only get slightly more love out here. Nick is the one who gets all the love being in fucking Toronto. But with that, folks, signing off. That is Harrison. Those are Ruin and Nick. I am Matt. Remember, like I said up top, to subscribe to Bitesize Breakdown for all of your movie content. Like, go to the website, do all that fun stuff. They do great stuff there. Be sure to follow my personal channel, What Real Entertainment. And with that, we're signing off from another Bigger Bite. We'll see you next time.